Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are here to talk some BKFC on the Mike and Mish show. What up, Mike?
Oh, what's going on, Kyle? Welcome, everybody, to the greatest show in, what would you say, in Knuckles? On Earth. I don't want to say on Earth. That was Barnum and Bailey's thing, you know. I don't want to steal their shit, but I guess they're gone, right? We can take that.
Greatest show, greatest Knuckles, greatest fisting show on the internet.
Guys, no? Yeah, that's a good one. That's one right there. The greatest fisting show on the internet. Everything you need to know about men fisting each other.
That's right. All right, let's stop that now. Okay, before we fucking land in some algorithm that we don't need.
Right, I know. You know what's funny? Christ. Do you remember that reminds me of the
Keith Richardson.
Keith Richardson.
Exactly. Keith Richardson did the transition video. He's like, I'm Keith Richardson, and you guys watch enough men fisting each other on the internet to land in the algorithm to see Mike and Mish. Like, oh,
I know, that's what we put out. What's funny though, because we have Ben Rothwell coming on right now, and he also did a transition video that's very near and dear to my heart. I've used it about 10,000 times now, I think, at least. And he sends us one that's like nice, straight and narrow. You know, you're watching the Mike and Mish show, and then we get Keith Richardson. That's what he says.
Because they were back to back. You get like a nice one.
Yeah,
man. Yep. Well, hey, we have a huge show for everybody tonight. We're not going to wait too long to get right into it. We got two heavyweights that are both going to be fighting on January 25th. January 25th. I'm like all lost today in Philadelphia at KnuckleMania 5. Two heavyweights that'll be on the card, not fighting each other. Big Ben Rothwell will be joining us first. He's fighting Mick Terrill for the title, and then we got Pat the Brick Brady, who's going to be taking on Zach Calmus. I believe Zach's on a 5-fight win streak right now. He's red hot in that division. He's always entertaining. So let's go ahead and shout our sponsors and get this shit on the road. Let's go.
Oh, okay. We're going to do our sponsors. Let's do it. Hey, guys, you know what it is. Dynamic life, sexual health, weight loss, and anti-aging. Retake control of your life by reaching optimal health. Visit www.livedynamic.com. It's the only online platform where you can become a patient in under 20 seconds. Also, check out their Instagram page at Live Dynamic. That's LIV Dynamic on Instagram.
And then head over to the Rasha on Instagram. It is at the Rasha, Rasha Elite on Instagram. TheRasha.com is their website. It is the official mindset recovery and performance tool of the BKFC, of Christine Faria, of Austin Trout, and the Mike and Mish show, and Elvin Brito, and so many others. Everybody loves the Rasha, and you should too. Go to at Rasha Elite on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio and find out how to unlock that championship mindset. What do you say, Mike? Let's go ahead and bring in Big Ben.
I really wish that I texted them and asked them if they were going to have a Rasha Dome at KnuckleMania 5. But you know what? I'm going to do it before next week so we know, is there going to be one in Philly? Because we need to get in that thing. All right. When we come back, we will be joined by Big Ben.
And I'm standing by here with the BKFC heavyweight champion of the world, Mick Terrill. Mick, welcome to Atlanta. You told me that you wanted a word with me, that you had something to say. This is your opportunity. What do you got?
I haven't fought since KnuckleMania 4. I just want to know when I'm next on. I want an opponent straight away, and I want to know who's got the balls to have a go.
That's a good question. You know, Mick, we certainly want to give you that opponent, but who's going to step up? That's the real question.
I just want to know who's got the balls, who wants it.
Well, Mick, you should really be careful what you ask for. You wanted the biggest balls in the BKFC? Here I am. And Mick, keep that belt nice and polished, because January 25th, I'm taking off your hands at KnuckleMania 5!
There he is. What's going on, Big Ben? Welcome back. I cannot wait until this fight goes down. First off, how are you? How are your holidays? And what's going on with you right now?
Yeah. I know he gives a shit about that. Let's talk.
We're gonna get right into that.
I do.
Let's talk about that promo.
Let's talk about that promo.
It's the first time I got to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know why Sirius and some of them were pissed off. Now I know. Yeah, the production not set up pretty bad. It sucks.
So when it
I didn't
happened,
get to see it.
Ben,
I'm in the back waiting for my cue. Like, yeah, it's a little bit scripted. Obviously, they had my video, but we're just trying to make an introduction. And as soon as the very first time, Nick's like, somebody's got the balls, and it was supposed to be like, boom. And then he says it, and then Sirius is like,
yeah, he looked back.
that's a good question. And it was like, in his head, he was like, "Rah!" Like, because him and so were like on it. Like, they had all set up, and production fucked it up.
You know what? In the night it happened, we were like, obviously everybody who watches the sport is texting each other, and they're like, oh man, that was not good, but it could have been good. I immediately said the camera cut to the ramp too fucking fast. If it was run a little better, and they've never really done anything like that before. And I wanted to ask you this: was that like planned on the fly, or was that something that you guys had talked about prior to?
They should have did it Friday. Like, we should have did a quicker. I mean, we're fucking scripting it then fucking script it. Like, let's do it Friday. You know, I didn't say anything about anything. I'm just like, do whatever the fuck you want. And I added in a couple of the lines, like, I'll take that off your hands, KnuckleMania 5. Like, I kind of improv a little bit. Like, I had a skit, and then me and Brian Souza went over it, and he's like, less is more. Let's cut it down. I'm like, I got you. Get it. I'm fucking short and sweet, get right to the point. And then I felt like I hit my lines. I felt like I rewatching it. I'm like, I came in, I said, you wanted the biggest balls, and bam, I got a little pop. I mean, that was cool. So I gave it a second and then finished and on his face, and it was great.
You finished.
I loved it. Obviously some people were like, oh, I don't like it. But you know what I do like about it, right? Is like, so people are like, oh, we don't need that there's the crowd that's like, we don't need the WWE stuff and this and that. I think it's great because there's entertainment value there. And it's not like it's scripted in a way where you guys are actually going to fucking fight, right? You guys are fighting each other. It's real. And you guys should be fighting each other. So people don't know for sure that fight is going to happen. We expect it to happen, but not every fight it's going to happen. So to release that the fight's happening, I think it's fun to do something like that.
Well, I mean, a couple of things on there. Like the first one is about we're really hitting each other. And I said, that's what I love about the opportunity we have. Take a little bit of works from both. Like UFC's as real it gets, right? Like that's where coming out, always being compared to the UFC because in combat sports, UFC's a major name, real as it gets. Well, we step it up. We took the gloves off. We're as real as it gets. We're the closest thing to an actual street fight right now currently going on. Bare knuckle. Closest thing to a street fight. Yeah, you can't use the ground fighting and all that, but it doesn't fucking matter. Like, the opening seconds of the fight are the closest thing to a real street fight. Fucking fist to face. Like, that's what's up. So there's a respect factor with that as well. We got the real. The second part is we're not limited to a Reebok Venom sponsorship shit right now. I know they played with it, dabbled with it. I'm pleading like, have your sponsors, you need them, make the money, but let the fighters be individuals. Don't lose that aspect. That's where the UFC, like, yeah, they make some money, but man, they lost that. And what does the WWE have? Like, they have characters. People want to get behind characters. Like, it's a known thing. Like, look at the businesses. They're kind of too divided, and we get to be together, take the best of both worlds. I think there's things with the entrances, like making them more glorified and like having maybe more theatrics, doing promos like this, but not messing them up, put a little more into it, maybe rehearse it actually the night before. Just little things that I think are because there's some people, even though that was messed up now that I got to see it, I still seen people online. Of course, there's the haters that hate everything and they hate any kind of change or whatever the problem is. What's cool is there was people that loved it. You don't necessarily always get people that love it. You always get haters, but people that actually said, this was cool, I liked it. They were out there, and they were into it. So don't stop. Like, add on to it. Like, keep giving them more of it. That's what I feel like the BKFC's headed is, like, give more. Like, what is working? Let's do more of it.
I love it, too. And we actually had an up-and-coming new fighter, Nathan Rivera. I don't know. You probably watch all the events. Nathan Rivera is the kid that came out to the ring and won his first fight, but he had handed an envelope to Chris Lytle prior to the fight and said, open that after I win. Opened it up. Chris Lytle opened it live on air after he won. He goes, I got this letter from the kid in the ring, and it says, this is a message to every 145 pounder in the division. I'm coming for you. Then in his second fight, Nathan Rivera comes out and he knocks the dude out and hands a newspaper to fucking David Feldman, and it's a front page article.
Sat down and read it first with put glasses on and like.
In the front page of the newspaper said, Nathan Rivera does it again. The Rivera era has begun. They allow you guys to do shit like that, and I love it because, like you said, it lets the personality of the fighter come out, and it allows the fan to like fall in love with not just the fighter that's violent in the ring, but also the personality of the fighter outside the ring. It's fantastic. And you don't get that with any of the other combat sport.
Be different. That's what we're winning. Right. Being different. We're something different. Continue with that path and use all these, things that we've learned, all the data that's been created over the last 50, 60, 70 years of entertainment, combat sports entertainment, like put it to motion. You had something I was gonna cut off. You would finish that whole skit and I wanted to get in talking about the characters and the difference. No, I got onto a rambling. I forgot. This kind of talking about the event. And
it's all right though. But what I was going to say about you and Mick doing that promo, Mick is a great guy and he has a lot of personality, but he is so. He doesn't let it out in front of anybody unless he's around his crew. If you ever get to talk to Mick Terrill around his guys with Big Ginge and those guys, he lets that personality out and he's funny and he says crazy shit. But like in that ring right there, I feel like he was way out of his element and he didn't know how to sell it like you did. Like you are an entertainer and you get it. I just wish Mick would have put a little more into it in that. It might have worked a little better.
Yeah, he told me, he's just like, I'm scared to death. He's like, this is far more nerve-wracking to me than fighting. He's like, I'd rather just fight. So I'm like, people are like, oh, he looked scared in there. I'm like, wasn't scared. He was just very uncomfortable. Like, me being in your face probably isn't, the most comfortable thing either. But it was even less about that. It was just like being under the spotlight, having to come up with stuff to say. That is what had him way out of his element. You're 100% correct. He even told me in the back. And I'm just like, dude, just fucking go with it. Like, whatever comes out, don't think about it. Just be as natural as you can. Be loud. Whatever it is that we want to do, just try to do it. So,
And you got it. And now you finally got this fight. We got the fight that everybody in the BKFC fandom wanted to see is you and Mick Terrill this whole time. We finally get it. Mick Terrill as a champion, you got to be impressed with him as a bare knuckle fighter, right? What are your thoughts about Mick and the run that he's been on since he has been in the BKB and the BKFC? He's pretty impressive, right?
He's 9-1, so it's respect is there as far as bare knuckle fighting goes. He's the most experienced guy I'm gonna have fought. He beat the self-proclaimed greatest bare knuckle fighter ever, who was even trying to compare himself to all of combat sports, and Lorenzo Hunt, and he put him down in less than a round, flatlined him. And then Arnold Adams, he's 1-1 with Arnold, and Arnold was like the reigning heavyweight guy for a minute. And,
yeah, 2 times.
Yeah, and Mick got his revenge on him. So you got to see in that fight, it went in the trenches a little bit. Arnold clearly, if I wanted to rewatch it, honestly, it's something I'm going to do because all I remember watching it the night of is Arnold beat him up pretty good the first 2 rounds. Then he got gassed, and then Mick completely flipped the script on him. Lorenzo just never was in the fight to begin with, and there's a lot of factors to that. But then you go to a fight like Panda, who, the man-child thing, whatever he is, that talked shit on me, so I don't have any respect for him. Who's somebody I feel like I'd put that dude on the stretcher in less than half a round, without a doubt. Mick had to fight him for a couple rounds. So Mick had some, he's had some questionable fights too. He's made some mistakes, but it's just all of experience. He shows heart. He's got skills. He's got all of that. So there's a respect to a point, but I'm very confident in my skill set is superior to his. That's what I want to demonstrate January 25th. I'm not winning isn't enough at all. I have to make an example. I have to showcase a heavyweight champion bare knuckle fighter, one of the most dangerous people on this planet. I have to bring a respect that isn't there yet. I don't think it's there. I don't think people really give a shit he's a champion. I don't think they respect him as much as he wants them to. He wants to say he's the baddest man on the planet. Everybody scuffs at that. Like, who the fuck are you? You're nobody. And that bothers me. I want to fight a guy. Everybody's like, oh, that's the fucking man. And they're kind of whatever. So he's kind of like, he'd like to beat me to kind of bring some respect to his name. But fuck that. Like, I'm the wall of his career because I want to make as many fans with BKFC as possible. Like, that's my sole and ardent wish. And the only way I'm going to do that is to go out and show the world some of the fastest fucking hands you've ever seen in your life. And January 25th, I'm going to prove it.
You have said that from the beginning with us, that your goal is to get the heavyweight title for the BKFC and then take that thing everywhere and pump this sport up and blow it up even more than it's been blowing up already. And the opportunity is there. Once you become the champion, what is your plans like? If you become the champion, you beat Mick on the 25th. Are you willing to take all challengers? Does it matter who in that heavyweight division they say is next? If it is a brand new fighter like Perdomo, who is 5-0 or 6-0, but
in MMA, you see guys get too carried away about what happens after. And I got all sorts of fucking plans. And I'll right now today fight all fucking comers. Like Mick's the guy. Mick's got the belt. So that's the guy that's the challenge is put in front of me. But it could have been somebody else again. It ain't my fucking choice, honestly. But Mick's got to be dealt with January 25th. And Mark, you know the fucking score. It's obvious. I'm not ready to retire yet. In fact, I got a chip on my shoulder. And I got 2025. I have to make a fucking statement about just who I really am.
can't wait to see it. And Dave was on Ariel's show yesterday, and he mentioned that they originally sold 13,000 tickets for the Wells Fargo Center, and it sold out immediately almost. Then they added 2,000 more, and then they added 2,000 more. Now they're looking at almost, I think they said 17,800 or something like that. Almost 18,000.
It was a 20,000 person arena.
I think it is, but the way how they set it up, usually they do like 2/3.
It lost seats.
Yeah,
they do like 2/3,
and behind the apron and behind it, they can't seat anybody there. And then I know they lose the floor space from the way the ring's set up. So whatever, 18,000. Let's fucking go. That should be like
that's huge.
Biggest best. Yeah.
You remember BKFC 41? How close the walkout was to like the back. It wasn't pushed. They like pushed that as far back as they could go in that arena. Like there was like no space for you guys back there. It was crazy. It was just like the loading dock. Usually there's like a big space. They'll pull the truck in there, and they'll park that trailer back there and do everything. But they didn't have room for that. They had to use like the back rooms and everything. And sure, there was like that basketball court in the back where they kind of did the pre-fight, post-fight press conferences and everything. But I think that's what happened here. They had it 2/3, but they must have pushed it way back again, like way back.
Well, that's fucking awesome. The demands are it's fucking about time.
Yeah.
Yes, UFC is sold out in Canada, like some 50,000 for one of the events. They've had some big ones, but I know I've been to some awesome events, and the arena was packed. It was 15,000 people. That that nobody thinks, hey, that's a UFC nice event. So 15,000 people is nothing to fucking shake your eye, right? So we're starting to venture into those realms. Like that's fucking incredible. Like 17,000, that's a fucking grand slam for us right now. Like, I couldn't be happier for Dave and all the BKFC and like what just for the event to even happen. That's you're just like fuck yeah. Like tickets sold. We know the people are gonna be in the arena. That's exciting because the walk up. I mean, that means they're not even messing with their walk up yet. That's insane. That's literally UFC type shit.
Right.
Selling out before an event. Like that's wild. And none of those other organizations that are saying they're the number 2 and whatever, they're not doing that. They're not even close. So, fuck yeah.
I think those other, I think PFL's in trouble. When PFL announced that they're not doing the $1 million tournaments anymore, that's a clear indicator that they're struggling right now. I think the purchase of Bellator and PFL did nothing for them. And nothing has gone right since that happened. So they've been on the down slope. The other bare knuckle organizations aren't even close to BKFC. One championship only seems like they do a fucking event like every 6 months.
They have so many skeletons in the closet. Like, come on.
Yeah. So it really is UFC and then you guys for sure. I am sure of that. That's fantastic. Fighting for the world title against Mick is one thing, but Dave Feldman has also been talking about a few other things.
$25 million, and then they're going to have a $15 million prize.
So
$10 million to distribute.
What are your
thoughts? Something about this?
So I want to know what a guy like you're 6'4", and
can I stop right now and tell you what I think?
What do you think?
You don't need 64 fighters. They're trying to do 185 to heavyweight, and you want to find 64 fighters. It's a waste. You're never going to fill people that deserve a payout. You don't need 64. Listen, I know there's only a couple of those world.
You can start with 16, right?
Yeah, I mean 32 is still like absurd to find talent. Like half of those dudes are gonna get immediately wiped out. Clown show. to build. Yeah, 16 is going to be a thing because in 16, that's one big night to get you to an 8-man tournament. And then the 8-man tournament start. You know what I mean? That's like 4 events. That's plenty. Like, I would say less is more in this aspect. Get 16. You need that $10 million is all you're going to use to pay out. Like, again, get 16 bad motherfuckers. 15 because, yeah, of course, not looking ahead, but fucking looking ahead. Yeah, I'm fucking going to put my fist in someone's skull for that shit. Because that goes in part of what I said at the beginning in 2025. So
what goes through your head though? Like when they say that a 185er could be toeing the line with you in a bare knuckle fight, you walking in there at 275 against like a 185.
Yeah, that's Lorenzo Hunt because he thought it was easy. He thought he was going to walk in and fight a heavyweight, and you just don't know. And the same thing that I've heard for years is going to get said if this happens and I'm put in front of those guys. The exact same fucking thing is going to get said, but worse because it's going to be a bare knuckle hitting them, not a 16-ounce glove. Because I hit guys with 16-ounce gloves, and they say, can you imagine what they say?
Nothing.
Yeah,
they
don't say much after they
no
get here.
Fucking way. Like they'll say
fucking nothing.
And to the 220-pound guys, go, I'm cutting it 205. That's what the fuck they say. Because when I hit you, it's a totally different fucking game. And there's 250-pound dudes that get hit by and they say, what the fuck? So 185-pound guy, he's in a game where he absolutely can't get hit once and has to hit me with the most crisp, hardest shots I've ever been hit in my life. Harder than you got to think, harder than some of the best heavyweights on this planet. That 185-pounder's got to hit me with and knock me out cold. Hope I don't get back up to win because I only have to hit him once. And that motherfucker's going to go, what the fuck did I do?
Oh, man. Well, January 25th is going to be incredible. Do you know what, like, me and Mike will be down there on the 23rd. I know they're going to do a press conference on the 23rd and the weigh-in's 24th and the event 25th. Have they talked to you guys? Have you doing any, like, big things with the city of Philadelphia or anything while you're down there on, like, the 23rd or anything like that?
No, it looked like Eddie's handling all that because Dave and Eddie were on there, did some big radio something in Philadelphia today or yesterday or whatever. So I was like, it's Eddie's city. Like, sounds like Eddie's doing his job. Sounds like a motherfucker out. My job is to simply come in and give those people what the fuck they paid for.
Jesus. Mike, you got anything for Ben?
Well, so first of all, you guys both fought at KnuckleMania. You both didn't make it out of the first round. It was like, so your fight was like ridiculously fast. Like, I mean, it was over. I mean, I guess kind of both of them. Wait, did the Lorenzo one happen in the second round?
No, it was first round, pretty sure.
That was first round, right? Yeah. So, like, you guys both fought last KnuckleMania and didn't really get to, like, get into it, you know? So I feel like it was kind of like you get kind of like blue balls from all the way back then. You finally get to go in there and fucking really go at it. And, you know, after that, you guys were not in each other's face in like a really bad way, but you did face off with them. So it's been a long time coming. I mean, it's like a fight camp for a year. How does that go? You know, does it get sickening to just be waiting to fight this guy for this long? It's
not a training camp. You can't do that. Like I stay active to a point, but it fucks me up. Like I'd rather spend 9 months. It's gonna be a 9-month layoff, and I'm 43. It's not good. But
yeah,
here we are. He's older too, so he was bitching to me the whole fucking time too.
Yeah, like
it's like, been a long time. Like we talk, like we're like business guys. Like, hey, yeah, we're gonna fight. Like to make help each other make money and let's fucking fight. So what's going on, man? He's like, I don't fucking know. Like I just want to fight too. So he was sitting on the sidelines waiting, but here it is, man. Probably the most historic event for the BKFC, and we get to be a part of it. So I'm out to make sure this was worth the wait.
Oh yeah,
I'm fucking going
for both of you. I hope that it fucking is.
It's gonna be insane.
Not for him, for me.
It's gonna be insane. Hey, it's gonna be insane. 2025 is gonna be insane after the event's over. If you have that gold belt on your shoulder, they got Dubai and Italy coming up. They're going back to Marbella, Spain. They're going all over all over the fucking world this year, and I cannot wait to see the outcome of this event and what lies ahead for you guys with the $25 million tournament and all that said. With that said, we don't want to keep you all night. We got another guy coming on in a minute who said he would like to fight you in the future too. Pat the Brick Brady brought that up. So
get in line, motherfucker.
All right. Floor is yours, Ben. Say any last final words to anybody that wants to listen, and then we'll wrap it up with you, bud.
Just know January 25th, you want to tune in because you see a man right here that is absolutely everything on the line to go out, and a win isn't enough. Like, literally, the only way this is a win for me is that people demand to see me fight again immediately after. Then I know I did a good fucking job, and that's the only way I want to win.
I love it. I love it, Ben. Thank you for coming on tonight. Mike, you got anything else for Big Ben?
Well, Ben, thank you so much for coming on. We will be there to see the event live and in living color. And I think, and Kyle might get a little upset, I'm going to bring this up. I think you owe Kyle, right, a little gut shot. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck.
Actually, let me bring it. Right. Didn't this happen a little while back? You're supposed to give him a little gut shot. That's another thing that's like an over a year we've been waiting for that. So I don't know, but
I thought you were gonna post some footage of me fucking.
Oh, you and Mick Terrill did it, but I remember you. Do you remember that you were supposed to give Kyle a nice fucking gut shot?
Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's fucking great.
That's what friends do. That's what we do.
We talked on the side. He was making a deal with me that I would give it to you instead.
Oh, what the fuck? All right.
Yeah.
Forget I said anything, but everybody else, don't forget this. January 25th in Philly, additional seats have been added. So get some. What are you, crazy? You got to be here. KnuckleMania 5 in Philly. Thank you so much for coming on. We love you, Big Ben. You're a true ambassador of the sport.
Same here.
We're very happy to have
fucking
you.
BKFC's #1 supporter, so I very much appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, man.
Everybody else, when we come back, we'll be joined by Pat, Mother effing Brady.
See you in a couple weeks.
Yep. See you, Ben.
We stand on the brink of something truly, truly special here in this great city of Philadelphia.
It happens at the Wells Fargo Center. Alvarez and Stevens on top. That card is insane.
In the city where I started with no gloves, to take my gloves back off, there will be no one that comes out of that tunnel January 25th that can fuck with me.
There's a new king of the fucking barbarians. He's home.
When I break things down, I like fighting and I like hitting people. The belt's great. I just want to hit people.
Mick, keep that belt nice and polished because January 25th, I'm taking off your hands at KnuckleMania 5! Fight fans of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania!
God, doesn't that get just
Gentlemen,
Hey, what's going on? Pat the Brick Brady, what's happening, my man?
How
You
hyped-
gotta be
Yeah.
fucking pumped seeing that shit, right?
yeah, that was a cool video, man. I haven't seen that yet. Is that like a debut or something? I haven't seen that one.
That was straight off of the Bare Knuckle Instagram. I saw it today, and I was like, "This is fantastic."
Did they
No,
just put that up today? No shit. That
I
was
don't
pretty
know.
cool, man.
But it is awesome.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
man. Yo, why
Hey.
is Ben so angry? Like he's like fucking I was switching and shit. You're like, oh fucking He's like, "Rah, rah, rah,
He's
rah,
ready.
rah."
Well, I think it's because like what you heard me ask the question, like they have actually been getting ready to fight each other. They're both of their
last
fights
April.
were so short. So really they had this
Yeah.
big fight camp for both of their fights. Then they get to KnuckleMania for a big hype, build up, whatever, and then nothing really
Yeah.
happens. I'm sure you've probably been in that situation where your fight ends quick or something, right?
Yeah,
ends within
no,
that long.
I've been through those quick fights.
And then you wait a year
yeah.
to fight after that.
Yeah, it has been a long time. That was when like Hunt broke his elbow or some shit,
Yes.
right?
It
He
was
should
in
have never been.
April.
Yeah, he should have never been fighting up at heavyweight. And then Ben beat the other UFC guy. What was his name? He did it like a quick drop of water in the UFC,
Oh,
didn't he? What
yeah,
was his name?
Todd Duffy.
Yeah, Todd Duffy. It looks like he fucking quit or something. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it just looked like he quit. Like he got
He
hit
said
once
he
or
hit
twice.
his head. That's what he said.
Yeah,
I
you got hit in the
believe
head with
that was
a punch. Like that's a fucking you got hit. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you're
no
gonna get
when he
hit.
so afterwards he got a lot of shit for it, right? And
Yeah,
then
because he
he came
quit.
out
Yeah,
and he
because
was
he stole money.
sharing. Yeah, a lot of people were mad. And then so he basically said when he fell, he hit his head on the rope. That was his excuse for what happened. You know? So we're
Yeah.
hearing live from you exactly what you thought, and a lot of people are on your side
Felt
too.
the same way.
I mean, yep.
Yeah, I mean, the plan is to make quick work of my opponent, January 25th. And last time I talked to you guys, I was asking for this fight, huh?
Hell yeah.
We did.
You know
we
what?
did talk about it.
To make listen, let me tell you this right now. If you make quick work of Zach Calmus, you will be making a statement within that BKFC heavyweight division, because Zach is in all out fucking bloody wars every single time he goes in there. Win, lose, or draw. And he has a good record right now. I think he's 5-2.
5-2 on a 4-fight win streak. Yeah.
4-fight win
His
streak.
opponents are 9-19. Okay. I've been studying Zach. I've watched every single one of his fights. I know all of his tendencies. I know all of his combinations. He comes in with that jab, his double jab. His double jab that he does, right? He jabs hard as shit, puts his head off to the right, right? And then he's got like this jab, throw to the body real wide, jab, and then he, instead of going to the body, he comes back up top. I've watched everything he does. I know what he's going to do. I know his tendencies. I know how he fights. And look, if I was out in Albuquerque with John since you and I talked, right? Since with John Jones. And I learned, actually, John's a friend of Ben's, by the way. I think they have the same manager. I was out in Albuquerque, and one thing I learned from the GOAT of combat sports is that you have to fight who you're fighting, right? Like you have to prepare for who you're fighting. And I'm fighting Zach Calmus, right? So I'm working against Zach Calmus, right? I'm doing everything that I need to do to beat Zach Calmus, right? Like combinations that I'm throwing, counters that I'm working, entries that I'm working, everything that it is that I'm doing has been designed and calculated and composed of ways to beat Zach Calmus. So the plan is to go in there and make quick work of Zach Calmus, right? Like look, I just like that. I just tell you what he does, right?
Yeah.
Like I know. Look, Zach's fucking tough. I mean, no disrespect to Zach at all. He's a tough motherfucker, right? Like he's one of those guys that you have to fucking put a bullet in, right? But I personally just don't think he's the level caliber fighter that I am, right? And he hasn't fought anyone of the caliber fighter that I am, right? Nobody he's fought, trained, or has been around, or has worked with anybody of any, I don't know, what word am I looking for here, right? Like, he fought Bobo O'Bannon, right? He fought Bobo O'Bannon. Bobo O'Bannon's one of the only fighters who he's fought who has any notoriety or has any like type of record that is indicative of success in combat sports, right? And he lost in the second round.
That was BKFC 17. That was his
Yeah,
first
it
fight.
was his
Long time
debut.
ago,
It's his
yeah.
debut. Long time ago. He's a different fighter now. He's gotten a lot of experience. Like I said, I don't mean any disrespect to Zach. He's a fucking warrior, right? He's a dog. I'll give him that, right? He's ignited the fire of the crowd around him, right? I'll give you that. But he hasn't fought anyone like me yet. And he knows it. He knows it, right?
Let's talk about the fact that you've been training with John Jones. And I wanted to ask you about this because I saw that did you meet him at a PFL and then he invited you to, did you basically mimic Stipe in his training camp when he was training for Stipe? Is that
Yeah. So
true?
the specifics of what happened is I fought in the PFL where I hit it off with Maurice Green, who lives in Albuquerque and trains with John as a part of his team. They're friends, right? So I hit it off with Maurice. Now, John came to Atlanta to do Maurice's corner. Now, I met John at that point, but it wasn't like we hit it off or he remembered my name or anything like that. He, doesn't and didn't. He was more focused on staring down with Francis Ngannou that night, if you remember.
Yeah.
Um, Hi, John. How are you? Nice to meet you. We took a picture. Now, he doesn't remember the interaction, but I do. What happened is that night I tore my ACL, right? I was fighting Jordan Heiderman, a previous Ultimate Fight, the Ultimate Fighter series, contestant, right? And undefeated fighter. And I was winning that fight convincingly. Anybody who's watched it knows I was winning. And I kicked, he kicked, I hyperextended my knee, blew my knee out, right? Outside of the fighter hotel, John was out there and just me making small talk with him. I said to him, I was 39 at the time. I'm a little older. I tore my ACL. I know I tore my ACL. The doctors did the Lockman's test. And I don't think I could come back from this. And he looked at me with just a dead serious face. And he was like, what do you mean? Just get surgery and come back and fight. Now he doesn't remember that. Right? I've since talked to him about it. He doesn't remember it, but
Yeah.
I never forgot. And I just remember going back up to my hotel room and laying in bed. My knee was just boom, 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 boom. And I was thinking of the mindset that John Jones has to it never even entered his head
That it's over.
that it's over. It doesn't, it didn't, it wasn't in the fucking atmosphere. What? Quit? Huh? Not me. Maybe you're a quitter, not me, right? And I just remember that certain people say things to you that have accomplished things that when they say things, they register a little bit more. And when John Jones says something to you, if fucking you have a choice.
You felt like you had an obligation now.
Yeah,
I got an obligation now to do this. Not
Yeah,
only do
so-
you want to do it, but you have an obligation now because he said it. And you're like, I got to do it. Look at this guy.
Look, I did have a choice, right? I could have
Yeah,
quit,
sure.
right? So, long story short, we go our way, we go our separate ways, right? My knee, I'm working on my knee, getting my knee better. I reached out to Maurice. Now, the Stipe fight, the first time had fallen off. John hurt his shoulder, and then they were in talks to have it put back on without a date, right? And everyone had kind of known that fight was coming, and I was in a place where I could train, and I reached out to Maurice, and I said, "Yo, if John's ever looking for a 40-year-old white dude to recreate Stipe, I'm his guy," right? That's a joke,
Perfect.
you know what I mean? I didn't think anything of it. And, Maurice LOL, we were talking back and forth on text or something. And he didn't say anything of it, right? Well, 2 or 3 months went by, nothing again. It was a joke that I cracked to Maurice. And I'm sitting right out back at his door right here. And I was painting a rock with my son. And my phone rings and it says Jonathan Jones, right?
Shit.
And I'm like, all right, my boys are fucking with me. Right? In my head, I'm going, my boys are fucking with me, right? I'm thinking, did I tell anybody that I said that to Maurice? And right away, I'm thinking my boys got some laptop and they're doing some AI bullshit with me. And yeah, and I answer the phone. He's like, "Hey, Pat, it's John Jones." And I'm like, "All right, John Jones, what do you got?" I said, "No, fucking yeah, okay, John Jones." And he's like, "No, seriously, it's John Jones. I got your number from Maurice." And I was like, "Oh shit." And like I quick muted it and ran in and got my 13-year-old son. I'm like, it's John Jones. Right. So like I put him on speaker, my son's sitting next to me, like, wow, what the fuck? And he said it's like the craziest thing. He said he's been watching me, right? He's like, I've been kind of watching you, following you a little bit on Instagram. I watched your fights a little bit. Maurice had mentioned that you would be willing to come out to Albuquerque to help me get ready, and I think you'd be a good fit for this camp for who I'm getting ready for my opponent. And I'm like, by opponent, do you mean Stipe? He's like, oh, you know who he is? I'm like, yeah, I know who fucking Stipe is. And we just hit it off, and he was like, look, man, I'd like to bring you out here and find out what you're made of. And he brought me out there, and we fucking banged it out, man. We got some work in, and I was just super fortunate to be around him and to watch how he carries himself and how he conducts himself and how he interacts with people. Like he's like a politician, but I think it's genuine. I don't think it's like a politician like is fake. I think it's genuine, the way he interacts with people, just like the way he interacted with me that night in Atlanta. It's a genuine interaction, and you can see it like even in the pictures that he takes with people. Like it's a real smile. He's look, man. People make mistakes, and people fucking come after John, but I got to tell you, every interaction that I've ever had with him, it just points to him being a stand-up person. And we share the same faith in Christianity, and look, man, he's a fucking assassin.
Pat, can you imagine, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whenever
Nope. I started this at fucking 34 years old. I made my amateur debut at 34 in 2018.
And 6 years later, you are not only sparring the greatest of all time, you're mimicking who most consider the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah, inside leg kick, right entry, inside leg kick, step back, right, L step, right. Stipe does his L step, steps back, L step. He baits you in 1-2, right. He throws the 1-2 real heavy, right. Yeah. I was watching Stipe. I was watching Stipe. I got notes in my phone on how Stipe fights. Like, I'll send you screenshots of all the notes. I watched all of his fights, and I was working that inside. So Stipe would 1-2, step back, L step, and then he snatches the lead leg single, right? And then he tries to run the fight. I worked all that stuff with John, right? Like that's why I was there. I was there to be fucking a 40-year-old white dude.
Fucking wild. Speaking of genuine photos, you want to know something funny? Mike and I met John in Albuquerque.
Nice.
And we're huge fans, and we usually don't try to bother anybody. It's not in our nature to go over and bother.
You do feel like you're bothering. You feel like you're bothering.
I hate it. But he's sitting at the table with his brothers and a couple other dudes from the NFL, and they're there for the BKFC. So we go over and introduce ourselves, and we talk to him. And we're asking him what he thinks about the sport.
Yeah, it was actually really cool.
We had a really good conversation with him.
I believe it, dude. I believe it, and he probably meant everything he said.
We walked away and got like 100 feet away from him, and I looked at Mike and I was like, we probably should have fucking asked for a photo, right? We don't ever ask for photos either because we don't want to bother nobody.
No, but he would have done it. He would have.
I know he would have. And nowadays, I always think back to that day of like, there's a few people that we've met throughout our years. Chael Sonnen was one of them. Had to get a photo with Chael.
We did get a picture with him,
and we did get a photo with Chael.
Yeah. But he was working with Connor. BKFC. John Jones was a guest at BKFC at his first event. So I'm like, want to have a good time. Maybe we'll see at another event,
Well, do you think that he'll come out to KnuckleMania and watch the fight?
I don't know. I've asked him.
That'd be cool,
right?
Right.
It would be cool. It would be cool. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't. Look, John's a busy man, right? Like he's a busy man, and he is of his highest value right now, right? Like it is what it is, right? Like he's a high value person, and everywhere he goes warrants attention and draws eyeballs, and attention and eyeballs are dollar figures, right? I know he's doing movies, right? He just did a movie
Like a
where
soldiers.
he played a Navy SEAL, and
Navy SEAL.
I know that acting. He did the movie, the French movie where he played
Oh,
John
the
Jones.
cage, was it Cage
Yeah,
Fighter or something like that?
yeah.
Uh,
And look, man, John's a Renaissance man, right? Like, and he's going to be successful in everything he does. And to answer your question, I don't know if he's going to come. He could not. Who knows?
well,
It would be
let's talk
cool if he
about
did.
let's
But
talk about Philly.
he
For
could listen. He could have an engagement that day that somebody's paying him fucking 300 grand. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
why would you go to BKFC when you have an appointment to shoot a fucking commercial
Make a
and make
$250,000.
$250,000? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So when we talked to you at Mohegan Sun back in May,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
did you know anything about had you talked to Dave and like had any inkling that this is going to happen and Wells Fargo is going to be the spot? Because not only did you fucking say it, you're like, man, it would be a dream come true if it would come to Philly and I could make the walk to the squared circle in the Wells Fargo Center. It would be a dream come true for me. And now we flash forward 9 or 10 months and you're fucking making the walk in front of Philly, in front of 17,000 plus people. That's crazy. Like you kind of talked it into existence and Dave made it happen. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to answer your question, but the idea of bare knuckle at Wells Fargo was not something that was thought of recent, right? Like that's something that has been dreamed of. I would assume since bare knuckle was created, right? Like, and Dave will tell you that, right? Like that he always wanted to do his biggest show in Philadelphia, being as he's from Philadelphia. It's hard for me to answer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, what do I say? I know Dave, right? Listen, Connor has said it on multiple occasions, right? Manifestation, right? I work my fucking ass off. And I just walked in the door, I don't know, half an hour before I jumped on this call with you. I jumped in the shower, scarfed down some food, and I'm on the call with you, right? I run a business. I was, dealing with work all day, sending emails, architects, clients, engineers, right? And then my employees, dealing with them. And then I come home and I have my kids, right? I took my son for a haircut real quick today and jumped in the car and I drove out to Eddie's new gym up there in Newtown, PA. And got some rounds in the bare knuckle cage that they have there at Eddie's Underground and NPR. And that's where I've been getting my workout, but I have to drive an hour to get there. And I've been doing that consistently, since I'd gotten the flu, right? I got in the flu over Christmas break, pretty bad. You can hear my voice still really raspy. I lost 12 pounds. I'm the lightest I've ever been for a fight. I've never been this light. I got on a scale after workout. I was 237, right? I just ate, so I'm probably 242 right now, 240. I'll probably get in the ring that night at 240.
And that's the lightest you've fought?
That's the lightest I've ever fought. Yeah, but to answer your question, you're right. It is a manifestation type of thing. And I visualize these things and I see these things happening before they happen. And while they're happening, I've already been there, right? Like everything I just said to you about Zach, his combinations, his tendencies, I've already recreated those 1,000 times in my head. I'm on the Echo bike going, watching his fights. They're right in front of me on my bike, right? Every time he goes, I'm going. Or every time the guy who he fought attacks, I attack, right? Like I'm recreating these fights in my head. I'm visualizing everything that he's doing with his hair flashing around everywhere and his body shots, right? When he was hitting McKenna with those body shots, right? Right? Yeah, go ahead and throw more than 2 of those at once against me. Go ahead. Go ahead, throw 2 body shots in a row against me. It's not going to work, right? Like, because I've seen it, I've done it, I've been there. And another thing I picked up while I was out in camp with John is put the right people around you, right? Put the right people around you, and like he brought me out there, right? Like he don't fucking know me, right? Like, but he found me, and he heard someone mentioned me, and he looked into me, and he brought me out there, and he said to me, "Look, if you give me a 3% increase in probability of winning this fight, it's worth it to me. 3%. If you give me 3%, it's worth it, right? If you increase the probability of me winning this fight by 3%, it's worth it." I have Chris Dawkins, Kyle Dawkins, and John Mercurio. John Mercurio was a 5-0 pro boxer, right, from this area, fought at the Blue Horizon, right? Left the sport early, didn't like the head trauma. Absolute boxing perfectionist. Chris Dawkins, right, was a top 15 UFC heavyweight. His brother, Kyle Dawkins, also UFC middleweight, right?
Yep.
On a 4-0 CFFC, longest reigning CFFC middleweight champion of all time, right? Has defended it and carried it longer than anyone ever. And these are the guys that I have in my corner, coaching me, showing me what to work. This is what we're working. All right, we're doing this. We're doing this. When he does this, we're doing this. When he does that, we're doing this, right? And then we're doing it over and over and over again, so that when it happens in the fight, it's second nature.
Right.
And I learned that while out there in Albuquerque with John, right? Like, this is something that I've implemented into this camp, from being there with him and learning and have him, like, that guy didn't have any wasted movements. There was no wasted energy. Everything was, what's the word that I'm looking for? Everything like was maximized. Everything was optimized. Optimized. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything was optimized with him. He had an itinerary. Be here, 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 here. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody, boom, boom, boom. And with this camp, I'll show you my whiteboard. I got a whiteboard over there on the wall. Right? Like, I'm writing down all my practices, everything, everywhere I got to do, what I'm doing at that practice.
Wow.
I'm ready for this fight, man. And
Crazy.
this is what we're doing, dude. So I'm not going to get in a fucking ring in front of 17,000 people unprepared. Not going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do it.
In your home city.
In my home city. Come on. I sold bunches of tickets on top of tickets on top of tickets.
Speaking about your home city,
Yeah, man.
Anthony Camacho, big watcher of the show, huge fan of the sport. We actually finally get to meet this guy in person when we went to the Hollywood card, the DAZN Hollywood card. He was asking what you think about all of the Art of War fighters, killers, he said, coming to BKFC, and how do you think they will do? And he said especially John Garbarino.
He ain't fucking lying, man. Art of War is represented in this card. It really is. He's right. Zedekiah Montañez, a good friend of mine. Zedekiah, man, he's such a good dude, man. He's so clean and technical. He's a fucking killer. He's an undefeated MMA fighter. I think he's 6-0. Murderer, just fucking good, clean boxing. And then Johnny Garbarino, the fucking pride of South Philadelphia, right? To say his name in South Philly, everybody knows who he is, right? Everybody knows who John Garbarino is. Another one. Everything he does is exciting. That guy's going to come out there and he's willing to die. I think he's 5-1, right? Art of War champion. Zedekiah is an Art of War champion. I was the heavyweight Art of War champion. Yes. Good job, Anthony. Right? Yeah. Art of War is represented on this card with some top tier Art of War products. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, listen, I'm so glad to be on a card of this magnitude with people around me that I came up with Garbarino, came up at the same time. Zedekiah, same thing. And Eddie and I have hit it off a little bit, right? We've been bullshitting a little bit. And you know, I didn't really know Eddie too much before this, but him and I have hit it off. So it's been.
Do you run into him at
awesome.
do you when you go up to his gym
Yeah,
to train for this?
I was
Have you
just with
guys
him
trained a little bit?
I was just with him a fucking hour ago. I was just with him.
Sorry about that.
Because on top of learning from
Eddie,
with him. Yeah, like on top of learning from John, you've also got Eddie around
I'm learning
you,
from Eddie.
Eddie's one of the freaking greatest of all time too. It's
Eddie has been showing me things that work in bare knuckle that he's used that work. Or I'm not going to say what it is because I'm going to fucking use them, right?
Yeah.
But there are things that techniques that he's been showing me that have been working, that he found success with, that we've been drilling and working. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be. Listen, this is a culmination of like rich Philadelphia warriors that have just they're all coming home to fight in the arena that we've all fucking dreamt of fighting at. Right, this is it, man. This is fucking it.
I'm glad you mentioned the arena because what you just saw pop up there and my mistake, I was trying to upload it. And when I uploaded, I actually clicked on it at the same time and it brought it up. And because we were just talking to Ben Rothwell, talking about how it started off where it was like 13,000 seats. Then they added another 2,000 seats and now they added another 2,000. So I had gone and taken a screenshot and uploaded it. And here it is right here. And I wanted to bring it up and just be like, so you're going to your hometown and you're gonna fight in this fucking awesome arena that you know, obviously you just said how you felt about it, and it's 13,000 people is a lot of people, a lot of fucking people. And then all of a sudden they say, hey, we're gonna add another 2,000, and then we're gonna add another 2,000. Holy shit! So like, what's the biggest crowd you fought in before this? Have you fought in the 17? I know you've been to a big events. Have you fought in front of a giant crowd?
Well, no, when we fought in Atlanta, when I fought in Atlanta in the PFL heavyweight tournament, the $1 million tournament, it was at the OTE arena, and no, it wasn't that big. Everything else, you know, I fought at 2300 arena a couple times. We had the BKFC tryouts there. That was a good crowd, but no, not like this, man. Not like this.
It's gonna be booming like loud.
It's gonna be booming.
The next biggest crowd that I fought in front of was the Mohegan Sun. That would be the next biggest crowd.
And you know what? You're gonna have that huge crowd, but you're also gonna have Philadelphia legends like in the house too. Like the Broad Street Bullies are gonna be there. Bernard Hopkins will be in the audience watching you. Maybe not a legend to you or to anybody else, but to me and Mike, Ed Bassmaster is going to be there.
I saw him live.
That motherfucker is hilarious. I'm so glad he's going to be there. I hope. I know Stallone. I don't know if Stallone's like originally from Philly, but Rocky's. I would. They should do everything they can to get Sylvester Stallone to come to fucking BK.
I like this kid when he's kicking the tires of the car. He's funny. I saw him live. My wife bought me tickets when we were dating because I was always
Chip Diamond.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. I hope
he shows up as Chip Diamond.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Just everybody in the crowd just like
with that Coogee sweater that he wears. It's pretty good.
Yes, I love that. Sylvester Stallone was born in New York, by the way. So I just
okay.
But you know what I mean.
He adopted our city.
He should still go.
He did. Dude, it's gonna be incredible. January 25th. You and Zach Calmus, you seem extremely prepared, and everything we heard tonight, surrounding yourself with the people that you're surrounding yourself with, training with the people that you're training with, it's hard to believe that all that work and those minds going into a game plan, it doesn't come out successful. I know Zach is one tough customer, so
I mean, look, it's a fight, right? Like he's gonna show up, he's prepared too, right? Like he's training too, and I give him credit, right? Like I wouldn't want to fight me. But right, like he signed the dotted line and he's a fucking psychopath. So he's willing to get in there and he's gonna be throwing with bad intentions too.
Now
right?
Let me ask you this real quick, and I don't even know if you even have thought about this or not, because you're putting so much effort into this camp and thinking about the opponent in front of you. but it is the first month of 2025. Have you tried to visualize 2025 in your head after Zach Calmus? Do you have a name in mind that you would like to fight next? Obviously, the end game is Mick Terrill or Ben Rothwell, right? You want to be a world champion. Everybody wants to be a world champion.
Yeah.
What is the route that you visualize to get yourself there?
I mean, look, anybody who knows anything about fighting knows that you have to worry about the fight in front of you. And, obviously you guys got me quoted saying I'll fight Ben and Mick and all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was also just post victory, right? So like,
exactly.
I'm focused on this fight. I am focused on this fight, and what 2025 brings is what 2020 is what God plans for me in 2025, right? Like God's plan is God's plan. I'm going to continue to put the work in, and I'm going to continue to just fucking grind and do everything I can to be prepared for this fight. And then ask me that same question after the fight. I'll I'll give you a long list of names, all the names you want to hear. But
I will be talking to you in Philadelphia for sure.
Yeah, my man, let's do it.
Oh yeah,
that's it, man. Hey,
it's
Mike and I will be there. We'll be down there on the 23rd for the beginning of the festivities. I don't know exactly what those festivities are gonna be yet, other than a press conference, some weigh-ins, and an event. But I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of shit. I'm sure I'm hearing that tailgate parties are gonna be happening in the fucking Wells Fargo parking lot.
It's gonna be cold out there, brother.
It's
cold
gonna
out there.
A bunch of freaking maniacs.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I can't wait to get down there, Mike and I've never really spent much time in Philadelphia, to be honest with you. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to
not many people look forward to it, but hey, we'll have you.
we have some we have something to look forward to. Before we finish up with you, I'll give you a minute. You already shouted some people out tonight, but if you want to take a minute, say some things, shout some people out, or send a message to anybody, go ahead and take a minute.
Yes. Obviously my cornermen, my coaches, John Mercurio, Chris Dawkins, Kyle Dawkins, and then I've been working with Diamond Strike and Justin, just been really helping clean up my striking, and he's an elite striking coach, right? And then I have guys like Cal Bleinebacher coming out and taking the trip and helping get in there and spar with me. And then, we got Mike Kennedy. I got a bunch of guys who I've sparred with. I sparred with Joey DeWaco. He's also on the card. And, everybody, you guys know who you are. You've been helping me tremendously. And guys take time away from their family, right? And it's cold out and they're getting in the car and it's fucking icy and they're driving to come help me, and I'm just fucking unbelievably appreciative of that. And this kid Ryan McElroy's been taking pictures, documenting everything step of the way with Raven. He's got a great Instagram page with Raven. RAVN, and his name's Ryan McElroy. He's been really fucking capturing the moments of training with. Just he's got the eye for it, man. And everything's been, and of course my wife, I'm appreciative of my wife for letting me walk out that door against her fucking will. She does not like it at all, but she watches me walk out the door, and we just had a baby girl.
That's right.
A month and a day ago now, right? My daughter, Finley Kathleen Brady, right? And then my three sons, my oldest, Colin, 13, my man, Liam, Brandon, my 10-year-old, my man. I love that kid. And then Declan, my 3-year-old, and then the baby girl. So there's a lot of sacrifices, man. There's a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of sacrifices being made. A lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
And it's not for nothing, man. We're going to put on a fucking show. That's what we're going to do.
It's all worth it.
It's gonna be incredible, man. Hey, did you ever think you were gonna have a girl after the third boy, and like you guys go for another one?
I did not want another kid. I didn't want another kid, and then it's a girl. And like, oh fuck. But listen, man, it's God's plan. It's not mine, right? It's God's plan. It's not mine. And God saw fit to give me a girl to straighten my ass out. So, listen, I'll tell you this much. I can't do this sport for that much longer. And I can't have my daughter see this kind of fucking carnage, see her dad. But it's a
Yeah.
couple of years. I got a couple of years.
It's
So,
got to be different when you
yeah.
fight, because my kids, like, I'm always looking up fights and shit like that. So I have two daughters, and like they're constantly exposed to it. As much as I try not to, I'm always watching fights. So like now they're just
She's gonna
it's
be
normal. They walk
around.
by, they're like, okay, and they just keep
Yeah,
walking.
she's gonna be
It's the same
around
shit.
fighting. She's gonna be around fighting. She's gonna know fighting. She's gonna be trained, right? She's gonna be able to carry herself. But it's one thing to be capable and knowledgeable of it, and it's another thing to see your father participating.
Yes,
So,
yeah, totally
yeah,
different.
I gotta get this over with before she's capable of knowing what the hell she's saying.
Yeah.
The boys must love it though, right?
The boys fucking love it. They'll be there, man. They'll be like, yeah, now let's go. My 13-year-old was at the last one you guys met. My 13-year-old, he'll be there too, man. So
he held the belt.
yeah,
Right,
man. Yeah, he'll be there. My son Liam's
I
coming
didn't think
too.
if I took any pictures of you guys together and didn't send them to you. I'll have to look.
I think maybe you did. Yeah,
I
my
may
son
have.
Liam too. I got to mention my man Liam Brandon. I love that kid. He's my little love bug. So he'll be there as well.
All right, and then the last thing I gotta ask you, and then I'm gonna give it to Mike. We're gonna wrap up with you. Big Ben Vanaski is in the comment section. He has written this twice now, so I'm gonna ask.
Let me hear it.
Maybe like
ask
34 times.
Ask Pat if he's ever been to a wing bowl.
I have been to a fucking wing bowl. They threw me out of it. How do they fucking know that story?
Oh God, we're gonna know about that.
Yeah, I've been to the wing bowl. My buddy ate in the wing bowl, right? We were on the fucking Angelo Cataldi show, and he did some fucking Burger King eating thing, and he wanted a seat at the wing bowl. Now, I used to drink, right? I don't drink anymore. I gave up drinking in 2018, right? So it was one of my drinking days, and we went. And how fucking rowdy do you have to be to get thrown out of the wing bowl? That's how rowdy I was. I just remember just like purposely knocking shit off people's heads and just starting fights, and they threw me out of there. Yeah, I've been to a wing bowl. But I don't know. They gave up on them. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and that was it. They did away with the wing bowl.
They didn't need to bring people in anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah, it probably wasn't making any money, but it wing bowl. Jesus, wow, that was a flashback. We rented a U-Haul truck. We rented a fucking U-Haul truck, and we all got in the back of the U-Haul truck with a keg, and we drove down 95 to the Wells Fargo Center with like 20 motherfuckers in the back of a U-Haul truck, bouncing around, pumping a keg. Yeah, it's fucking wild.
All freaking foaming.
Oh, dude. If that truck would have crashed, we were all dead. All of us dead.
It made you the man that you are today.
That's it. I got my balance in the back of that U-Haul.
I love it, man. Yeah. Pat, thank you for coming on tonight. We will be there in Philly. I cannot wait for this. Best of luck to you when you take on Zach Calmus on the 25th. Thanks. You're welcome back on the show anytime. Mike, what else you got for Pat the Brick?
We were talking about how many seats in Mohegan, and you said you fought in Mohegan, probably one of the biggest places that you had fought arena-wise. They full arenas, 10,000 seats. I think BKFC did 7,000.
I thought I heard 6 or 7. I thought I heard 6 or 7.
So 3 times that amount, basically.
Fuck it. Let's go. Fill that fucking place up. Move that fucking curtain. Get rid of that fucking curtain. Fill that fucking place up. Let's go.
Actually, during this, when I was looking for some information, I came across like Feldman's post just popped up right on top of my news feed on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I want to believe he's at I don't know, is he at a hockey game or so? All I saw was like the Megatron, like the big screen, and it said KnuckleMania across it, and there's a huge crowd there. So yeah, that's fucking awesome. Advertising for KnuckleMania there. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody that's watching, you already know. I said it earlier.
There it is, man. That's like a pay Zach.
Yeah, Zach.
That's a good poster too.
Wild
man.
Yeah,
it's a
wild
great
man
poster.
Zach. Listen, everybody, heavyweight bout January 25th, KnuckleMania 5.
Main card.
Philly.
We're on the main card too. I think we're the first fight on the main card.
Card.
Hell yeah, that's the way to kick off the main card right there.
Yeah, man, what a fucking banger. Let's go.
God, I cannot wait for this. It's going to be so awesome. We've been to every KnuckleMania, and we're going to KnuckleMania 5. I can't wait for this. It's going to be
5 for 5.
Incredible.
I'll see you there, boys.
Incredible. We will see you there. Everybody else, we will be right back after this.
Later, Pat. See you there. Yeah, boy. Shout out, let's go, boy. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Just a
Shout
little
out,
look back.
let's go, boy. Those,
boy.
bam.
That was a little
those-
look back at KnuckleMania 4.
That was KnuckleMania
Coming up
4
on
right there.
KnuckleMania.
Now you look at KnuckleMania 4 right there, and you see Big Ben Rothwell there. You see Mick Terrill there, and here we go. 1 year later, not quite a year, but one KnuckleMania later, we're finally gonna get that one. Unbelievable. That's an unbelievable heavyweight title fight, and the fact that Pat and Zach are the first fight on the main card, if that is true, that is a fucking great fight to start
look right now, but I feel like it does change. It tends to change the card and how it's stacked up. And it actually did change because there was a fight that fell off. We talked about it briefly, not on the show, but off air. And for those people who don't know, there a couple of days ago, it went out that, let me bring up this little graphic here.
canceled.
Bryce Hall and Kimbo Slice Jr. is off the card. So it's off the card. So we'll shift some of the fights up. And it looks like they're the 6th from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are
they gonna let Travis Thompson kick off the main card? That'd be great.
It looks like right now he is. If they do 3 on the prelims, that's what it looks like. He'll be
let the animal. If they're not gonna do Pat and Zach, let the animal do it, dude. That's fucking great.
Run wild. I saw earlier Anthony Camacho said long drive. It's about 5.5 hours from where I live. I've been to Philly many times because I'm sure I know you were watching before when Dave Feldman was on and he went to Temple University. My ex-girlfriend went to Temple University, so I went there a lot. And
that's right.
Yeah, and it is very cold where we are. It's actually colder, I think. We were in single digits yesterday. Single digits.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Weather. Anthony, I hate it.
So on Tuesday when they announced that the fight was canceled, it was on Social Show. And Big Ben put it in the comment section right there. Since in the past year or so, Kimbo Slice Jr. has become a cop. So he has a career now. He's still fighting, but from what I understand, this is not the first time he has committed to a fight and then pulled out of that commitment. So I don't know if the Bryce Hall narrative that he's going with, which I think is funny because I think he knows that he's scared, but they were talking about it and it was more like he's not scared to fight Bryce Hall, but the thought of losing to an influencer. would tarnish his like he might fear that it might tarnish the family name if he goes in there as fucking Kimbo's kid and loses to a fucking TikToker. You know what I mean? So that narrative I could probably get behind. And you know what? He's probably, he could be thinking, you know what? It's not worth it. Fuck it. I have a career now. I don't need to do that shit. So who knows what the story is behind it? But that fight is off the card. But the card's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of good fights on this card. You got the Eddie and Jeremy Stevens. You got Terrill and Ben Rothwell, but you also were forgetting about Taylor Starling and Beck Rollins. You got Johnny Garbarino, who is making his debut on the card. Pat and Zach. You got the Animal Thompson. You got Dustin Paige on there. You got the guy Zeb Montanez that he was just talking about. That is a local Philly fucking gangster out there. So it should be a fantastic card. I forgot that Panda Banks is on the card on the prelims too. It's crazy.
Wait, what?
Steve Panda Banks is on the card.
I didn't even realize that. I gotta be totally honest with you right now. I did not even realize when did he get added to the card? Let's pull this down here.
He's fighting Joey Dowiko.
Yeah. Doweko. I don't know, yo.
Yeah, there it is. But I'm fucking excited about it, man. I like getting down there. And I like this fight card. I wasn't super excited at first because I thought they were gonna make like massive fight announcements. Like I thought Perry was gonna be fighting somebody on this card. I thought there'd be 2 or 3 title fights on this card. You know what I mean? But it's still gonna be just fine. It's gonna be fantastic, man.
Dustin Paige fighting after his jaw getting broken the way it did. I feel like it's so soon. To me, it's so crazy.
Yeah. And then what's his name? Brandon Myers fighting on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a
McDowell's.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
McDowell's. It's like the Big Mac, but it's called the Big Mick. They both have 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions. But their bun has sesame seeds. Ours, no seeds.
No seeds. No seeds. No sticks, no stems. Ooh wee.
Oh yeah, Lord Evan Zentar is in the comment section. Philly crowd will be tailgating in the parking lot starting at 3 p.m. Wow.
Wow. It's
gonna be a rowdy night in Philadelphia. So, anyways, we have
on the couch.
We have the guy on the couch. Yeah, the guy on the couch. And we have 2 shows scheduled for next week prior to the Pachanga card. And our Wednesday evening show will be when you all find out who the winners are of our 2024 Mission Accomplished Bare Knuckle Awards, the 3rd annual. And there's some surprises, guys. You're going to like it. It's going to be a good show.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good show on Wednesday night. And then I'm so glad that Jessica Borga just popped up in the comment section right there.
Are you glad? I'm glad.
You know why? Because next Thursday at 9 o'clock, we will be live. And our first guest of the evening will be Hannah Rankin, who has been a topic of conversation on social media. And a lot of it has to do with Jessica Borga. So I think that fight is all but made. I think it might already be made. And we're going to talk to Hannah about it because we saw Hannah out in Spain. We didn't get to actually chat with her out there. Nope. She was very busy, but she had a really rough fight that night. And
March 27th, right? Is that what
we've talked a lot about it. March 27th, it's looking like, right? Yeah. So anyways, male fighter of the year, female fighter of the year, rookie, breakout.
Let's see, I have the pictures. I can bring them up right now. The pictures.
Yeah.
Let's see. Got event of the year.
Event. Yep.
There we are.
Boom.
We've got breakout fighter of
guys.
the year.
I'm going to tell you right now, when I tell you that some of these, like that one right there, go back to that breakout one. That
Yep.
breakout one.
Breakout. You guys know? Do you know? I don't know.
Guys, there was like 590 fucking votes.
Yeah, it was good. It's
in
good.
this
The
one.
third annual. It just
There
keeps
was
growing
a
every year.
shitload in this
Growing.
one. Yep.
Female fighter of the year.
I'll tell you, and then I'll tell you, keep going.
Yeah. Fight of the year. Don't say
That
too
one
much, you know. Let them
No.
stay, you know.
That one had a ton of. I'm just talking about the ones that had the most. Like I spent a lot of time tallying because we're on multiple platforms and there's comment sections, but then there's also Messenger where people don't want to put their vote out in public.
Yes.
So they send me send me them in the fucking Messenger and DMs, and I got to go in there and I got to tally all them. So there's a shit ton of votes for a lot of these, and I think you guys are going to be happy with the award show next Wednesday night.
It's always fun. Every year it's fun. Like some of them are like, oh, this is what we expected. This is what I would have picked. And then there's some where I'm like, I did not see that happening. And you know, it's awesome. Everybody, excuse me, holy shit. Everyone that's been nominated by us, they're winners in my eyes. These are people who have fought their asses off, like, or they, you know, the card's a great card, or the ring girls are working all the time, always on the road, always doing promoting. Like people think like these girls just get a fucking card and walk around the ring. Like, no, that's not all. They're at like every event, just about. Some of them are at like every event. They're traveling all over the place. And in between, they're doing fucking everything, right? They're going to different types of boxing matches. They're going to prospect things that aren't even televised at all. Like, I'm not saying their job is like fucking physically hard, but it is like you know, they're always working. It's not like they're just doing one event and then you see them in like 7 months. Like they're always doing shit to promote. So that's another one. We've got, you know, I only say that spiel because people always talk shit. You know what I mean? The event of the year, there's some events that could have been on there. There's an event that we talked about with all the homegrown fighters in Hollywood. That was a great card. However, I feel like we could have put 2 events on there and it would have been between those two, Spain and Sturgis. I mean, if anybody ever even watched or been to either one of those were the 2. Nothing else compares to those. They were friggin' insane.
Big Ben said I lose count after 10. I have to take my shoes off after 10. Fucking cocksucker. Anyways, I got a busy weekend planned, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Mike, what do you got going on this weekend? I got 2 basketball games and drill. So what do you got?
Me, I don't know. There's always a bunch of shit to do.
Probably some birthday parties.
Oh, there's probably a birthday party. I don't think there is this weekend, but I'm gonna tell you what. There's gymnastics, there's art classes, there's play date types of things going. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty, but I got to finish up all the stuff for the show on Wednesday or else we don't have a show on Wednesday. So that's what I got to make sure all that shit's done, squared away, as they say. And there are a lot of fighters. Some people been getting in touch with us and stuff. No matter what, we're going to get to people, whether it's here or at the event. There's just so much happening in such small time that it's very hard to get everybody on. So, but we're going to go to 2 events in a row, 2 weeks in a row too, which is pretty crazy.
We do have to shout this out. This weekend, Sean Wheelock, Chris Lytle, and those guys are putting on their first referee and judges seminar. And I think where is it, in Kansas City? Or remember the judges seminar that we got invited to? Yeah. It's this weekend. It's Big Ben's out there right now. Big Ben's out there right now. He's taking the class. So good luck to all those guys. I know that they have a huge number of people showing up for that. As the sport grows, they're going to need more people in different areas to actually know what the hell they're looking at and what they're judging and what they're. I'll tell you right now, dude, I wouldn't want to be a judge.
No,
I wouldn't want to be a judge. You got to make because you make a decision right there on the spot, and then you go back and watch a fight again, and you're like, oh, I fucking fucked that one up. You know what I mean? Like,
I need to watch it over to figure it out. It's like, no, they need to just figure it out.
It's a tough job, and I don't envy those people, especially like when they fucking, you know, when it seems like they absolutely blew it, and then everybody fucking blames the judges and says that they're a bunch of pieces of shit that don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? It's a tough job, dude.
No,
and then referee and stuff too.
I do it sometimes. I say it sometimes.
Right. We've all
fuck
done
this
it.
person, fuck that person, this person should be fired, all that good shit.
But,
You know what's funny though? The more we do the show, the less critical I am about certain things. You know what I mean? The more we learn, the more we see, it isn't that easy. You know, it's easy to point the finger, but it's not always easy. I like to
No,
get all
it's
the
tough.
info.
Mike and I
first,
had an awesome conversation in the upstairs gym in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We went upstairs
Fantastic.
and they have like this
Play
little
basketball.
tiny little basketball court, and they have a little gym area. We go up in there into the basketball court, shoot around, and Andy Glenn's in there and Dr. Don Moosey's in there.
Yes.
And we stood there and had a fucking half an hour conversation about all the ins and outs of the fucking intricacies of this sport, and like what
injuries and stoppages,
the injuries and stoppages, and what doctors got to look for, and like how hard it is for that referee. And like Andy Glenn likes to, I'm not saying he won't, but he basically said, if I remember, he don't like to ever stop a fight in the middle of a round to look at a cut, because he's afraid, he's not sure what that doctor is going to say, and he doesn't want to take away the possibility of this kid possibly winning a fight. So he lets the round end.
The best, let it.
He
go
lets
to
the cut, but he said he likes to see,
unless it's crazy bad,
right, of course. But he gives the cut man the opportunity to fucking do their job in between rounds, and that is why they wait till they come to the scratch line at the next round, and he says, wait, and then he has the doctor take a look. So they had finished the prior round. He sat in his corner. He let the cut man work on the cut, and then the doctor takes a look at it. And if the doctor takes a look at it and says, yeah, he can continue, that cut man did a fucking good job in the corner. The fighter doesn't want to fucking quit. So everybody wins there. And I thought it was a great conversation that we had with those guys. So very cool. Ben's going to go out there. He's going to learn all this stuff. And next thing you know, we're going to see Big Ben Vanaski refereeing a Big Ben Rothwell versus fucking Mick Terrill rematch a year from now.
Right after the class. Actually, I hear like as soon as the class is over, you just sit and you watch it, and then they give you your
your first assignment
credentials or whatever, and you're ready to go. Yeah, you can just do any match no matter what.
Yeah. No, remember when we had Chris Lieben on, or when I talked to Chris Lieben, and he said that you need like, I don't remember
so many hours or 100 hours.
It was
amateurs,
100 fights or 500 hours or whatever. It was like, it was crazy.
In the amateurs first.
And he's like, that's why I'm like, dude, I'm refereeing 6-7 amateur fights a night, fucking everywhere I can find, just to get them in. There it is, right there. Referees and judges. Seminar. With that said, guys, we're almost done here. I'm just going to shout out our sponsors real quick. Dynamic Life. Get over to @LIV Dynamic, @Live Dynamic on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. 20 seconds later, you become a patient and you get your health in check. And then head over to @Rasha Elite on Instagram. You can hit the link in the bio there too. Bring you to their website. You can find out about that championship mindset that we all talk about and we all believe, and we hope they have a dome down there in Philadelphia. With that said, I don't have much left to say. Mike, what do you got for the people?
I got one last thing. I couldn't get a picture up here, but it was sent to me. There is, Tony Loco Soto, one of our faves.
Oh, that's
he is doing a striking seminar, tryouts for GOAT Combat Agency down in Gulf Breeze, Florida. So that will be happening.
When is that?
February 9th. So I will we'll bring it up again before then, and we have another month to go from today.
February 9th. Yeah, I saw that. And if anybody wants to see that, it's on the GOAT Combat page. It's on Tony's page. It's on Scott's page. I shared it to my personal Facebook page. If you guys are, friends with me on there, you can check a look there, or do the due diligence and find it yourself. With that said, Mike, are we good to go?
Do due diligence. We good to go, man.
See you next week when we give our awards out. Peace.